everybody, I'm Pancakes as always, and can you imagine joining me tonight on the stack? I have the baby dragon Erron Wade, and you
Hey
can find
everybody.
Erron. Hi, you can find Erron in Action Wrestling, TWE in Chattanooga, New South, Southern Underground Pro. He also recently debuted at Freelance Underground and will be debuting at Paradigm in December. So please welcome my guest for tonight, Erron Wade.
Hey everybody. How's it going?
Hi, we were just talking like right before we went live how I met you at SCI and I was like you were just such a unique person. I had you on my list of people I wanted to interview, and I'm so glad that we were able to make it happen. So thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate you being here.
I've been looking forward to this all day long. It's gonna be a
Oh
good
man.
show.
Well, I'm going to disappoint you, but that is fine. I just like to have set the bar pretty low. Um, but jumping right into things, what was a young Erron Wade like?
Oh, a young Erron Wade. Let's see, I got in trouble a lot, I guess. I,
What did you
I,
get in trouble for? If you can tell me.
um, I guess it's not doing what my parents wanted me to do. I would always I've been beat with belts and stuff, and it sucked. But I would always every time my mom beat me with a belt, I would always complain to my dad, say, "Hey, she beat me with the metal side just to get her in trouble because it hurt so bad." I even tried to nail sell it once, and then it made my mom even madder. So it just didn't work out. But yeah, I got in trouble all the time for the most part.
Were you like just like a rambunctious child? Did you have like what did you do?
So I have ADHD, and so that makes me really wired. I used to take medicine for it, but I kind of stopped. So even in school, when I was in kindergarten, I didn't want to listen to my teachers, so I just didn't do what they wanted me to do. So I got in trouble. It kind of calmed down when I got to high school and middle school, but I still got in trouble a little bit. Not too much then, but here and there. Yeah, it was
Well, I
it was a time.
well, were you interested in wrestling as a child then?
I got my interest in wrestling pretty much started when I was kind of well, it actually technically started when I was 8 or 9. I would like to say because I had this friend who was real big into it at the time. He his stepdad and his actual dad were both wrestlers, and I met him when him and his real dad, his mom were getting a divorce. So she met this other guy, became a stepdad. He was also a wrestler. So it was kind of what a coincidence, right? And so I met him and he was showing me people like Jeff Hardy, The Undertaker, Rey Mysterio, all these cool guys. And get this, I didn't think these guys were real people. I thought they were just kind of comic book characters on a page or something. So I was like, okay, these guys are pretty cool. I remember he had on his wall, I think it was No Mercy 2008 or Jeff Hardy's upside down or something. Or might have been No Way Out, one of the two, where he's in an electric chair. And I was like, that's cool, but is he real or something? I didn't know at the time. I was 8, so I didn't really start watching until early 2011 when I was like, okay, this is a daily show that goes on every Monday. I want to check this out. But yeah, kind of origins.
So you started watching wrestling in 2011. Like, who are some of your early favorites?
Uh, Definitely one of my earliest was CM Punk. Definitely that was when he hit his stride, stride, but when he got extremely it's when the pipe bomb happened and stuff. So it's that's when he went up and became the summer of Punk. It was cool. I got to live through that. And him, I was definitely a Mysterio guy. John Cena up until he beat Ray for the title the same night he won it. I hated John Cena after that for years. Now I respect him. What a weird, wacky world I live in. But yeah, there's a lot of good favorites.
So, how did you decide to pursue wrestling?
I actually was probably I want to say maybe the summer of 11. maybe 2012 when I was like, okay, I think I might want to do this. So I was pretty young when I decided. I was like, okay, this looks pretty fun. I would go to like shows with my friend when his dad would wrestle and get in the ring and like run around. Like I was doing the flip bumps when I was like 10, 11. And the people are like, oh, look at this guy, he's flipping in the ring. I was like, I'm just landing on my back. I'm not really landing on my feet. But like, I used to go to shows and hitting the ropes and stuff. I thought it was like that's my favorite part of wrestling is hitting the ropes, by the way. And like just getting in the ring and just rolling around with my friends was really fun. I was like, okay, I think this is something I like to do. It looks fun, and it is.
So how long have you been wrestling?
I actually just surpassed my 3 year mark. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So where did you train and what were some of the best things you learned while training?
I originally trained at in I think Chatsworth, Georgia, under a guy named Matt Gilbert. I don't know if you know who that is or not, but
I don't, but that doesn't matter.
it's okay. It's okay. Um, but he went by the barefoot badass because he didn't wear shoes or wrestling, and so he originally started training me when I was a sophomore in high school, and he basically taught me like the basics, how to bump, how to hit the ropes properly, and things like that. He also took me to Robert Gibson School for one night, which was cool. So I kind of got to learn under him. But and then he eventually couldn't train me anymore, and then he dropped me off at PWB under Jaden Newman. So I've been training there ever since.
So what were some of the things that you picked up both from your first person that helped train you to what you're learning now from Jaden?
Definitely, I've learned a lot more under Jaden because like Jaden, he expands his horizons of like learning. Like he has Carrie Awful that I go to and train here and there, and so I learn things from him. And he brings things he learns from seminars to us, so we can like learn different ways of how to do things. Matt, he kind of just like had like one way of learning, I would say. Like he's been around. I don't want to say forever, but he's been around for a while. Like a long. I don't want to like say it wrong, but he's been around forever. I would like to say, I guess. But Jaden, I learned a lot from him because mainly he just gets information from like um, seminars he's done, people he's meet, like that, and like he just helps us all learn in an easier way and better way. Yeah.
Like so I was at like the TWE arena or whatever when I
Yeah.
came down for SCI, and you guys seem to have like a really nice little community down there as far as like with all of you that wrestle and train. Um, who has had the most influence on you both in and out of wrestling?
My biggest influence on me in and out of wrestling.
Mhm. So like it can be like two different people, like your person, like someone for your personal life and someone for your like wrestling life, or if it's the same person, like that's fine too.
Probably my dad, honestly. My dad helps me a lot. He before he like um he would come to shows with me a lot before he was like working all the time and he would get back late. But he would take me he would like ride with me, not necessarily. He would kind of take me to like my bookings and stuff, which was cool. And he's helped me with merch, and he still helps me. Like sometimes he'll have like the occasional dumb idea, but like he still he means well. I love my dad. He does a lot for me in wrestling. My mom too, but my dad, he's kind of like father son dynamic, so he like understands it more than my mom would, if that makes sense. But yeah,
So what are your future plans and dreams like and what keeps you motivated again both in wrestling and then not in wrestling?
dreams. I would like to wrestle out of the country one of these years. I think that'd be cool. Japan is like definitely like one country I'd like to go to. I'm a huge fan of Japanese like culture, so like I'd like to go there and like wrestle and stuff. It'd be very interesting. I get to try their food too, so it's like a win-win. Definitely that
So
for sure.
so you want to wrestle in Japan. Is there
Yeah.
any is there any
Ooh.
like specific thing that you want to do like in Japan, or just like just all over, just go, if that makes
DDT.
sense?
DDT wrestling. Like DDT is such a fun ferocious. Like I've seen like spots with Kota Ibushi and the blow up doll. I've seen stuff with I think Omega wrestling the little girl. That might have been there too. Just like things over there just seem fun and like they're just having a good time. Who cares? It's wrestling.
So I also like wrestling that's fun. Um, and it seems like your matches, even when you are going through your trials in action, that you still have fun. And we were kind of talking about that before we hopped on today, because you've had to wrestle, um, you said O'Shea and Kevin Koo for your
Yeah,
trials so far. Is that
yeah.
right? So what, and you told me that was fun. See, I wouldn't think that that would be fun necessarily. Getting beat up by Kevin Koo and O'Shea Edwards, but
Yeah.
you said that you had a good time with that. So, like, what about that specifically has been fun for you?
I don't know. Maybe the rush of adrenaline when you're in there with like monsters like Kevin Koo and O'Shea Edwards, and I don't know. I getting kicked by Kevin Koo when your adrenaline's pumping like isn't the worst thing, but it still pretty sucks when afterwards. I'm sure if I remember correctly. But yeah, it was a good time. It's fun, but like it's also cool because I don't know who it is until I get there. And like no one tells me anything, which is, I mean, it's fine. It's a trial. I'm tested to the limits, which is cool and it's fun. I can't wait to who's next. No one knows. I don't know, but we'll see. Could you imagine if it's like someone from AEW or something bringing Anthony? Well, no. Well, yeah, Anthony Henry could be a no. He could be a trial. Yeah. What if it's Warhorse? You know, I requested Warhorse specifically, but hey, we'll see.
I mean, could you imagine
I
it
could.
being it being a horse? So what I'm hearing is for your next trial, you want your top three choices would be Anthony Henry, Warhorse,
And
or
Anthony Henry Warhorse or how much you think the budget would be if we brought in Danhausen?
that'd be pretty. I think the buzz would be quite large. I think that you would have a fun match with Danhausen.
Oh, I would have an awesome match. No buffing, just all gimmick. That's all we need. Could you imagine? It'd go over pretty well, I'm sure.
I think it would go over pretty well. I think that you
Yeah,
guys are both, besides being good wrestlers, I think you're both amazing characters. Like you
yeah.
have a lot of personality in the ring, and I think that you guys would play well off each other. So what I'm hearing is we need to talk to Matt to get Danhausen for your next
Yeah.
trial.
I want Danhausen. I took a seminar at New South. It was cool.
But you didn't see. So you took a seminar from Danhausen. You absolutely need
I can get a trial
to,
now.
yeah.
Yeah. Could you
So I
imagine if it
would
wasn't
work.
Danhausen?
I mean, it could. There's a lot of other people it could be, right?
What if it was me? What if I was my
You got
own trial?
you're your own trial.
Could you
How
imagine
would
that?
that work?
Me from the past comes meet me from the future or the
Would
present.
it be you, or would it be like somebody playing like a past version of yourself?
I don't know. We can invent a time machine, go back in time, get 2018 me when I just started, and then bring them to the future, and then have me be my trial.
I mean, we could try that. I don't know how successful it will be, purely because I don't think that time travel has been invented yet.
Yeah.
If it has, I don't know about it, and maybe it's better that way. Maybe it has been invented, and maybe none of us know about it. Maybe it's a secret government project. I don't know. I'm into conspiracy theories. It's a possibility, but on the off chance we were able to get our hands on a time machine to go back and get, we could go back and get 2018 you, or hear me out.
Ooh,
We could
okay.
go forward and get like 2030 you
Holy shit.
to come back and that make future you your trial.
Oh, that actually sounds like a better idea. Because you see, in 2030, I'll be 30. So then I'll be like a 12-year, 11-year veteran by that point. And then you bring me back into the past and then face me. And then myself kicks my own ass. And then I lose. And then my future self goes back in the future, just whatever he's doing.
Right?
Yeah, I
Maybe
like this.
maybe your future self is like on AEW.
Ooh. Not just doing darts, like doing like
Like
Rampage or
main
something.
roster business.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like Dynamite. He's on Dynamite every Wednesday. He'll be still
Yeah.
on Wednesday in the future. I mean, yeah, I like this. We're on to something.
I think so. I think that this is clearly going to be the way to go. I
I'll
think
pitch
that
it to
your
Matt.
final, yeah, Matt has to be able to pull off getting a time machine and getting future you to come back and fight past you.
It'd be like future Erron Wade returns to action.
Right?
Yeah,
Wouldn't that be dope?
that'd be great. What a great time.
Right? Or we could make it a triple threat.
Ooh.
Have current you, past you, and future you all in one match.
Oh, I just target my past self. Just like, you don't know nothing. Fuck you. Get out of this business. And then I'll just like,
But then you all fade away because you beat yourself to the point where you beat yourself out of the business, and then it changes the course of time,
oh, then I
and
would
then
suck.
you never become today you or 2030 you.
I'll just be like myself then. I'll give them like weak forearms where they don't connect.
You'll take it easy on your past self so that you can
Yeah,
become your future self,
yeah. Because if I don't, then the dead doesn't exist. So
right?
I got to do something. Yeah. Oh, what a great time that would be.
If we had the time machine, because now it's canon, we have the time machine. What
Yeah.
wrestler from the past would you go back and get to wrestle now? You could go back and get any wrestler at
Ooh.
any time.
Ricky Steamboat in his prime. That would be that's number one. He's definitely like from like the '80s and like that era. Ricky Steamboat's my favorite wrestler. Not just because he's a dragon, because he's like cool and he's just like he's just cool. I've only met him once and he said hey to me, and that was like it. I never actually had a conversation with him, but he's super cool.
No, so in our time machine, we will then go back to the 80s, pick up Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, bring him to today to wrestle you.
I'd have a banger match with him, 100%. It'd be great.
Think about how much you could learn from.
Oh, I would learn a lot. It'd be awesome. I want him to teach me how to do like the spot he did in WWE where he like breathed fire. You know what I'm talking about, right? Like where he's just like and like fire. Like it was cool. Like I've been wanting to do that for a while.
I mean, couple things. One, you could probably find somebody else to teach you that today. There are people that do that.
Fair
Two,
enough.
I don't know you well enough to know if that's a safe thing for you to do or not.
I've been
But
told
I'm
I
gonna
catch my
guess,
beard on fire.
yeah, I'm gonna guess probably not. You've got a lovely beard. You have a nice head of hair. You got eyebrows. You don't want any of
Yeah,
those things to be lost to an accident involving fire, right?
probably not. But what if it's for the business? Could you imagine?
So where would you do it at? Which company would you do a fire breathing gimmick at? Which one do you think would go over best? Which owner do you think would let you do that? Because I don't think Matt would let you do that.
What promotion? Uh, ooh, a hardcore promotion for sure. How about ICW No Holds Barred? Maybe Daniel
Yeah,
may do it.
yeah, that'd probably be a pretty good choice. You probably absolutely could do that there.
Yeah, it'd be great.
And they're coming to Chattanooga in November.
Yes,
Any
sir.
chance? Any chance we're gonna see um little baby dragon in action,
I
or
don't
can you
know.
not tell us yet?
Probably not. But
Probably not.
could you imagine if I did? It'd be cool, right?
It'd be pretty cool. Would you rather be in the pit or would you rather be in the chains?
Oh God, that's a hard one. Probably the chains. It seems like the pit is just like a world of pain. But I mean, if I was in there, I'd probably like it. Maybe depends who I'm in it with. What if it's
Who would you
Schlack?
want?
Could you imagine?
I mean, I could imagine you in the chains with Schlack. Um, I don't know that that's like the best way to go, but I don't know that it's the worst way to go. Um, I would absolutely root for you. I would really hope that you don't get seriously injured. Uh, have you been in any sort of like hardcore or death matches?
Well, sort of.
Sort of.
Um,
Do tell.
okay, so okay. Um, Back when New Jack passed away,
Mhm.
uh, New South found out I was a pretty big New Jack fan, and they're like, "Hey, how about you do this hardcore match with Carson?" You know, and so we went to the store and like bought our gimmicks and did it, and it was better, but like we kind of like had to like learn as we go, and like it was kind of one of those things I probably shouldn't have done, but I did it anyway, and I got to go put Carson through a door though, which is cool, but probably shouldn't have done it.
And what company was that with?
New
You
South.
said New South. Is that
Yeah.
available for us to watch on IWTV? Do you know?
It is not. It was a it was a dark match on a top shelf.
So I will never get to see you in a hardcore match because the one that you've had, I can't watch on IWTV. That's crazy. Can you imagine if I could see that?
I could because it was actually not great, but not good, but also not bad. If that makes any sense. And God, yeah, it was something that we did and that we participated in and got no money for.
It
If
was a
that makes it.
match that occurred.
It was a match that occurred in this timeline that we all live in. Yes,
So you said that you were a big New Jack fan.
I was. I was. I get a lot of crap for it sometimes, but I was a pretty big New Jack fan. Yeah.
So I was in Tampa Mania weekend, and I was able to watch what ended up being New Jack's last match, which was an interesting place to be. Um, if we could go back in time, would you go back and fight New Jack, or would you just be like, not for me, not gonna fight New Jack?
Maybe, but I would also be afraid to be too, I guess, stiff with him because I don't want to get stabbed. If that makes any sense. But like
No, that
it's
makes
it's
perfect sense.
like it's funny because like I was actually there when I saw New Jack at ICW in Tampa. Like when his music played, I was the guy dancing on the table and like doing hells, and like Jaden was next to me, and it was a fun time. And then like what a great time that was. It's on video somewhere. It's probably on Jaden's phone maybe, but like it was a great time. But maybe New Jack and Smoky Mountain might work
All
because by that
right.
point he probably wasn't like all messed up on stabbing people and beating up old men like Gypsy Joe. So like maybe back then,
We'll see if we can make that happen when we get that time machine figured out.
get the time machine. I'll go back to 1992 where New Jack is like killing it in Smoky Mountain Wrestling.
So, moving right along, we've got past time machines. Um, what has been your greatest achievement in wrestling so far? I know that you're still, pretty new into it. So like it can be like a title or if you had like a specific match or opponent that was really good that meant a lot to you.
Definitely me being in the 2020 Future Showcase was a pretty big accomplishment in my book. I thought that was cool being that because it was on my bucket list ever since I found out what the Future Showcase was, and I was like, I want to be in this tournament one day, and I was, and they surprised me with my Futures poster, which is hanging on my wall over here. Um, After my match at TW 7 Years Strong, they're like, all right, they kept it. They told my parents, but they didn't tell me. So they're like, okay, I did the match. I ended the match with a 450 on the Adam Priest. Covered him. 1, 2, 3. I beat the vicious Adam Priest. And then Matt comes to the ring, and Scott comes to the ring, and Matt cuts his promo, and is like, all right, you are becoming a star, whether you like it or not. And we have one more spot in the Future Showcase. And I knew what it was before he said Future Showcase when Jaden slid in the ring. So Jaden came to the ring. I was like, okay, this is something's going on. I don't know what it is. But maybe I'll be in SCI next year. I don't know. But like, and then next thing you know, I see this like thing that Scott told him. He takes it out, he unravels it, and then he builds the poster of me. And I was like, oh, this is so cool. So I started crying. The waterworks were coming. And I was like, oh, this is a cool moment. I cut a promo, and like, no one sounds cool when they're crying. Like, no one sounds like attractive or like uh, awesome or whatever when they're crying. You're like, oh, they kind of sound kind of like, you know what I'm talking about. So like,
Yeah, no one sounds like tough when they're like crying.
yeah, no one sounds tough. And so like, I got the poster, and I was like, oh, this means a lot. So as soon as my match was over and everything was done, I went out back and took a picture with it and posted it. So that's definitely up there for like best moment for me and like accomplishment. But yeah, it was a fun time.
So, what has been the greatest obstacle that you've overcome in wrestling?
Greatest obstacle. I guess it's something I'm still trying to like um conquer, which is uh going on the road by myself and kind of traveling without Jaden with me, which is something I'm still trying to do. That's why I'm glad I have like Paradigm coming up. Um, I did Ottawa Mid South twice without Jaden there. I've been doing like some other shows without Jaden like by my side, and it's like one of those things I'm still trying to do. Cause it's like I don't got Daddy Jaden there with me now, so it's like I gotta travel by myself, and which I travel with friends like with Billy Tipton, but like Jaden's not there. It's like one of those things. It's like I didn't want to leave the nest because I didn't think I was ready. But now it's like I'm trying to like do my own things. Like I got my resume kind of already structured, so I can like send it out to whatever promotion I feel. But that's definitely one of those things I'm still trying to like get over and conquer for sure.
So, you travel a lot with Jaden then. Who else is in like who else are your road buddies? Who else do you go to shows with?
So like we all have like a clan per se. Like it's like the best friend clan, I guess. At least I call it
Aw.
that. I don't know if anyone else does, but like we have Jade Newman, um, Noah Hoffman, CJ Lawler is usually there too. Carson Dilbeck, the Good Sisters. I don't know if you ever met them or not. One of them has green hair, the other one has purple hair. Um,
No, I don't think I've met them.
they got trained by Luke Gallows and like they came
Oh,
to Jaden. So like they're usually with us. Pete Youngblood. I think that's it. I'm like in a group chat with like a bunch of these guys. So like yeah, I think that's usually it. It's usually like my friend group. And it's like a big circle of us friends. But we're family because we're on the road together all the time. And it's great. That's my
so
favorite part.
out of your like wrestle group of traveling people, who is the best driver?
Definitely Carson because he drives the most. See, as for me, I'm not
Mhm.
allowed to drive because nobody will let me. Every time I do drive, people always complain about my driving, so I just don't do it. But like, I probably need to start, but they won't let me start. If that makes any sense. Uh,
So they don't let you drive?
no, because they complain about my driving a lot. I don't think I'm a bad driver. Like people complain about Jaden's driving, and he still drives.
Do
Like,
you want to drive? Like, I
I
think
mean,
that being a passenger would maybe be
I,
better.
I like I'm okay with driving. It's just driving at night that I struggle with. Because like once like the sun goes down, it's nighttime and it's nap time, and I'm tired. And like I could sip on as many rains as I can, and I'll still be tired. But I guess me in the passenger seat wouldn't be as bad, but like it's still pretty bad because it's nighttime and I'm tired and I can't stay up keeping the driver up. So like it's usually Jaden's driving or Carson's driving, one of the two, and like Jaden or Carson in the passenger seat, and like everyone else is in the back. And like that's usually how it is. But hey, I drove Dana McCabe to Sup last Sunday. Like they trust me with that. So like I did pretty well.
And like you got there and everything.
Yeah, I got there. He only said two things about my driving. It's because I almost ran a stop sign, but I stopped when he said stop sign, and then I almost ran almost ran off the road. But he said, "Well, hey," so I stopped, and then just kept going straight. So I did pretty good overall. I got him there safe and sound. He had his match. I didn't have to take him back because he was staying in Nashville, and then I just went home. So it was. I mean,
Why people don't let you drive?
I'm not a bad driver. I swear to God.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, no, I think that people are doing the right thing by not letting you drive.
I did fine. I swear I did fine.
You did just tell me you almost ran off the road.
Okay. Maybe a little over exaggeration, but it was like the shoulder. You know that like when you're driving on the shoulder. I
Yeah,
did.
like when you hit
It
the little
made
rumble strips.
yeah, like it made that noise, and then Makabe like pointed it out, and then I got back on track. And so
Oh, okay. So I'm sorry. Maccabi had to point out to you that you were going off the road. Like, weren't the rumble strips like that's their function to let
like
you know that you're going off the road? How long did this go before he said something?
it was right away, but I got kind of distracted by my own driving, if that makes any sense. Like I'll be like lost in conversation to the point where like I'll just not concentrate on what I'm actually supposed to be doing. So I'll be sitting there talking to Makabe, learning about him, and then we'll get lost in conversation. I'm like, almost like when you're like falling asleep, but you don't fall asleep. You just kind of just like get invested in what you're talking about, and then hey, oh sorry, and then we're back on track. I literally apologized twice, and he said it's fine, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. So hey, I got to talk with Makabe. It was fun. I got him there safe and sound. That's the most important part, safe and sound. And then he had his match, and it was fun. Yeah.
I still need to catch up on that show. There was a lot of wrestling. I was out of town this weekend.
Oh,
So
nice.
that is on my list to watch
That
probably
show
this
was
Friday.
so good. That was
Because
probably like
yeah,
my
that show was
favorite. Yeah.
fantastic.
That was probably my favorite like sub show they've had in a while, which they don't run as much as I don't think used to. But it was like I don't think there was a bad match on the card. Like it was super fun to watch. And then I was the bell keeper. I got to ring the bell. So I had some. I was a part. I felt like I was a part of the show. I rang the bell, ding ding ding, three dings, three dings. That's it, three dings,
You
ding
rang the
ding ding.
bell. You almost killed Daniel Makabe. Um,
I'd say
very
it's a
like
yeah. I'd say it's a pretty successful weekend. It was a fun weekend. Yeah.
so you drove Daniel Makabe there. He stayed there. You drove back home by yourself.
I actually brought I know Sean Thompson, Steve Dave. He's usually at TW hanging out with us. he asked if he can ride with me. So like sure, because I had a feeling I was probably riding back along anyway. So I I picked him up. Well, I actually picked my coffee up, then went back to pick him up, then went to Nashville, and he rode back with me. It was fun, but he kept falling asleep. I told him no, not to do that because I get told no. So if I get told no, that means no for you.
So you were trying, so but you didn't fall asleep while you were driving, right?
No, no, I felt fine. Like actually felt pretty rested. I had I think a coffee, and I don't know if I bought a rain or not, but I had some coffee, and I felt great.
Well, the sub show was an early show, right? It was like an afternoon thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, subs usually like they start at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and they last till probably I think around 5 ish, around that time. So it's an afternoon show.
That's I mean, that's good. That means at least you're not driving like super late. But like
Yeah.
now, so like I'm always a little worried about all wrestlers when they drive long distances because they're driving long distances are tired. Sometimes they're by themselves. So I do kind of worry about all of you just generally. But now I'm going to worry about you a little bit more specifically because I I'm a little bit concerned about your driving.
I'm not that bad like people say. JD may be worse than I am, because like even at sub Maccabi pointing out to Jaden, hey, I heard your driving's not as good as people say it is, and like Jaden goes, who complains about my driving? Was it Matt? And then as soon as Jaden left, Daniel said, yeah, it was Matt. So Matt said it. You can ask Daniel, yeah. So maybe it's not as bad. Yeah. No, no, well, could you,
I mean, you did just tell me you almost drove off the road. So, and that somebody else had to point out to you that you were doing that.
I mean, it was Daniel Macabre. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I like Daniel Makabe. He's a great wrestler. He's a nice
Oh, yeah, he's
guy. I've
awesome.
interviewed him on the Smack before. Um, so I would prefer that he stay alive. Um, and I'm a little bit concerned now with anybody that will drive, like that will ride with you, that like maybe that's not the best option. But like then also like I'm concerned for you because I want you to stay alive.
It's okay. I'll be okay. I'm not bad, honestly. Got robbed once, and then it'll be okay.
So I'm gonna ask, like, so is this an isolated incident or does these things happen with frequency?
I guess frequency. There's times where like, so okay, hold on, hear me out. So like, I'm more comfortable driving my own car than anyone else's car. Like, I wrestled in Missouri a few weeks ago, and like everyone with that, we all rode in Noah Hoffman's car. And when it was my turn to drive, I was okay, cool. And like every time I drive someone else's car, I feel like I have to fight the steering wheel. So I'm like, and then like everyone's like, stay straight, stay straight. I was like, I can't. And like people complain about it. Like I don't know what to say to that. So I'm not bad. I just had bad luck. If that makes any sense. Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is that you should never drive somebody else's car
Yeah.
because that makes the problem that you already have worse.
Yes. Exactly. Well, I mean, I did drive Jaden's car in Tampa to go back to the B&B to get his laptop. So I mean, I did okay there. But riding back, Matt was in the passenger seat and giving me crap about my driving. So like, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't have a license. Could you imagine though?
Could I imagine if you didn't have a driver's license or if you could drive better?
I mean, I passed my driver's test. Maybe I took some curves too fast, but she said I did okay. And then I got the picture of my face on it, and then the rest is history.
So I don't know how familiar you are with SpongeBob,
Yeah.
but like I just feel like your driver person probably felt like Mrs. Puff when SpongeBob tries to drive.
That's probably accurate. It's probably the most accurate thing I've heard all day.
I'm getting big SpongeBob vibes from you.
I mean, yeah, I can see it. I mean, at least don't floor it backwards, I guess.
Yeah.
Whoa, don't jinx me.
This has been a interesting conversation about your driving
Yeah.
skills.
Yeah. It,
So really what I'm hearing though is that you probably shouldn't be in charge of driving for road trips. And you know what? That's okay. That's okay.
yeah. Really, yeah, you're probably right. I probably shouldn't be driving on road trips, but I
So
do sometimes.
so if you shouldn't be driving, like how would you be as far as like what kind of music would you listen to in the car? Like how would you be as like the playlist kind of guy?
I listen to a lot, like kind of like whatever, basically. So I listen to a lot of the SmackDown versus Raw soundtracks because I'm that type of guy. I love those games, but also love the soundtracks. I'll play it all the time, and people that ride with me get sick of me playing it all the time. But I don't care because I play it all the time because it's a good soundtrack.
So like out and I apologize, I'm not very big in video games, so I'm not familiar with those soundtracks. So like what is on them? Is it
Oh,
just like
see.
wrestling theme songs or is it like what what
So
what
I
what jams are you rocking
so
out
let's
to?
see. I have them like all just categorized on my phone on Apple Music. Let's see. Where's a good one? All right, so SmackDown versus Raw 07. You have like songs from 3 Days Grace, Rise Against, just banger songs that get you through the night when you're driving, especially when you're driving by yourself. And you got a song I actually where's that? No, that's a different one. We got Versus the World, which is it's a good band. I only know one song and it's from the soundtrack. Um, and then we got a few good songs from here. Oh, here it is. Money in the Bank. I don't know if you saw my my Freelance Underground debut. I
I did, I
came
watched
out.
that.
Oh, sweet! I came out to this song, "Money in the Bank" by Little Scrappy, because like what the guy on the show was wrestling was using "Best Around." So like, hey, James, like, hey, use this song because you didn't want me to use it, but it's "Money in the Bank" because money in the bank. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah. I
It,
watched your debut on Freelance.
it's awesome. But yeah, I listened to a lot of SmackDown versus Raw. Uh, so there it is. A lot of SmackDown versus Raw on my playlist, and everyone else can vouch for me. It's good.
So what's the most surprising thing on your playlist? It's not SmackDown versus Raw.
Most surprising
Like
thing on my playlist.
yeah, like what's the most surprising thing that you listen to?
I do have a Disney playlist that has like Disney songs on it. I do like Disney. I'm a big Disney mark. Um, so I have a Disney playlist that has like a bunch of songs from like I don't know if like it's every movie, but like a lot of their movies. I also have every Eminem playlist, like every song, every album he's had. I have that. I also listen to some Japanese music. I have that on here.
Hmm.
My favorite band is Baby Metal. I don't know if you ever heard of them, but they like do
Yeah.
like this. Yeah, I like listening to them. Get you. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. So I have an Edge playlist that has like all his like themes he's ever had, which is only like 3 songs or like 4 songs. Yeah, it's 3 songs. And I have a CM Punk playlist that has all of his 3 songs. And yeah, I'm a weird guy because I got a lot of. I mean, I'm
Oh,
not like cringy weird. I'm just kind of like, why is this a thing weird? Like, why do you have a CM Punk playlist where you can just search his songs and put it on your library? I want a playlist.
So you're a big playlist guy.
I got a lot of playlists. I got a WCW playlist. I got a Wade Barrett playlist.
A Wade Barrett playlist?
Yeah.
How many songs are on that?
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 songs. And
That's
they're all
wait,
great.
that's like 5 songs more than I anticipated you'd have.
Yeah, I have every single song that's ever used in the WWE on my phone. And if Wade Barrett ever listens to this, just so you know, I was a pretty big fan when you're in the like wrestling. I don't know what he's doing. I think he's doing commentator for NXT now. But
Well, Wade Barrett, if you ever happen to see this, Erron Wade is a fan.
I am a
I'm a
fan.
fan too. I liked Wade Barrett. So
He was awesome. Completely underutilized when he was in like a wrestling league. He should have been a world champion.
I think I met him in 2017.
Lucky. See, I'm a huge Nexus mark, so I love the Nexus and the core, even though the core was not great, but it was still pretty good to me.
So what when you're on the road, like what's your go-to like road snacks? Like what do you like getting at the gas station after the show?
So I usually, so I might be biased, but like I always get what Jaden gets for the most part. Like sometimes I'll say, "Oh, Jaden eats this, I'll eat it too." Um, and sometimes I'll differ myself. I get like some protein bars. Oh, I might get like occasional like um, what's the word I'm thinking of? I guess sweet, like something sweet, kind of like a Pop Tart or a donut or something. And so I'll get that. I'll make it a rain or a bang, depending on what Jaden gets. I'll get a water. I'll get a water because you always have to have water. Water's good. I'll get that. I may get the occasional coffee, something to keep me up. And yeah, usually what Jaden prefers because it's leadership by example. If you see what the trainer gets, you gotta get it too.
So you're saying you usually get what Jaden gets, but like what if Jaden gets something you don't like?
Oh, then I don't get it. I get something else because like
If you're by yourself, what do you get?
I always get. See what I get last time. I got a thing of peanuts last time. And peanuts. Oh, and I got trolley worm crawlers because Jane likes to get those, so I'll get them too. So I got those, and then some peanuts, and I got a water. So I'll switch it up here and there. Maybe I'll get a protein bar, maybe I won't. And then
What's your go-to protein bar?
I like the donut ones. I have like I can't remember what it's called, but it's like it tastes like a donut, like a glazed donut, but it's like not. It's a protein bar, and it's pretty good.
Are you sure? I don't know what these are, but like also I don't look at a whole lot of protein bars. I've tried some and I think they're all terrible. So if you can figure out what this glazed donut protein bar is and let me know, that'd be pretty dope.
Oh yeah, I'll show it to you. It's pretty good.
Hell yeah.
Jaden likes it too.
So what is your like you've wrestled in a lot of promotions. You've wrestled in a lot of different places. What has been one of your favorite like cities to wrestle in?
Favorite city? See, probably Chicago was pretty fun when I did that for freelance. Like I got to be there with some pretty. I got to be there with uh his name is slipping my mind. Dang. Uh Not Bojack. It wasn't him. He wasn't there. Uh Crap. He wrestled Kevin Koo on the show. Uh anyway. Oh well.
So is that your freelance show you said?
Yeah, the freelance underground show I did.
Hold on. I'll search IWTV and find out for you.
Oh, okay, thank you. Cause like
I
he was
got you.
pretty cool. I just can't remember his name.
You said he wrestled Kevin Koo?
I
Calvin
believe so.
Takeman.
Yeah, Calvin Takeman. Yeah, he's cool. I like Calvin Takeman. Yeah, that match was fun. Fun to watch. Yeah, that was he was cool. He was nice. He was fun to hang around. But definitely that because like even though I didn't come up to my traditional song, I still got a pretty good pop when I came out. So like that was cool, and I like to go back. But I also like to be on their I think their main show, freelance wrestling,
Mm-hmm.
which would be cool to do. Yeah, that was a fun trip. Kevin Cooey did not let me drive his car.
I think that was with good reason.
Yeah, for obvious reasons. Yeah.
I mean, I drive a piece of shit 2008 VW Jetta, and I don't think I would let you drive my car.
I respect that. It's probably for the best. But could you imagine if I did?
I mean, I I mean, I couldn't because my thought would be I don't know where we would end up. If we would
Oh,
end up in a car accident or not.
I've only had one accident, and it wasn't my fault.
Okay, so you're gonna have to tell me that story right now.
Okay, so uh, it was it was 2019. It was me and Cody Manhorn were in the same car, and in front of us was Jaden and Cheyenne, and I think Bailey Blake was there too. And so like we're following them to a new level show up in Alabama, and I'm like, okay, this is gonna be fun. I mean, I'm looking forward to this. So I was driving. I was taking my car. I was driving, and then like I was doing pretty good so far, following Cheyenne, Jaden. I was like, oh yeah, this is going pretty easy. And then we get to this like where there's like a Sonic over here, and then like right here is kind of like a turn where you like go across the street to go to like all the other stores, and like Sonic is like on the other side of the street. So we're going, and then like there's an 18 wheeler like right here, and then like the 18 wheeler kind of passes us, and we hear it blow its horn, and we're like, what was that? And the next thing you know, this car just comes speeding right into like my driver's side and just like smashes the front end of my hood. And then like I saw the car just kind of the other one just kind of spin. I was like, oh my god. And like what's crazy is Cody had his feet on the dash, kind of just relaxing. And then before I got hit, he took them down. So like imagine what would have happened if he had his feet up there when I got hit. So I got hit, and then like I literally just got gassed too and stuff. So I got hit. My car was totaled. I was sad. I did not get to wrestle that day, and then I went home, and I didn't have a car
Oh,
anymore for like the longest time, I would say. But I got a car eventually, the one I have now. But yeah, and like Jaden and everyone saw them like hit me because they're like right in front of us. They saw the car just smash right into my hood, and that car was cool. My dad did a lot of work on it. Now it's gone.
oh,
I'm sad, but
oh! I don't want to make you sad.
it's
I'm
okay.
glad that you're. I'm glad that you're okay. Like I'm glad that you're still here.
Yeah, I am
I'm
too.
glad that nothing serious happened to you. That would have been
Me too.
awful,
Yeah, I would not become the dragon or the baby dragon I am today.
right? Well, that sounds terrifying, and that actually does sound like it wasn't your fault. I was like, I had like some dubious thoughts that maybe you're just telling me it's not your fault, but what like it really was. But no, that really wasn't. You didn't do anything wrong, I don't think so.
Yeah, and like it was Alabama's such a weird state when it comes to like wrecks like that. Because like when the police and like everyone showed up, they're like, "Oh yeah, we have this law where it's like no one's fault," and I'm just like, "Huh?" So like the person didn't get in trouble for hitting me,
What?
and like, cause like apparently they didn't see me like come like behind the 18 wheeler. So as soon as the 18 wheeler passed, she just like tried to get across the street as fast as she could, so she floored him and just hit me. And like she didn't check on me or nothing. I could have been, like been flown within my windshield or something, laying on the pavement. Cody Manhorn could have been like flown as well. Like we could have been messed up. And then no one, they didn't check on us.
What a bitch.
I know, and it was weird. So I remember this like vivid moment where like we're laying there. We're like kind of just sitting there. I'm just kind of like I'm kind of stunned. You know how when you get hit, I'm just like my like frozen up. I'm stiff. And then I see this lady kind of running across the road. Um, that I guess works at Sonic. So she's running over there checking on the people that hit us. And then like pretty much they're like best friends or whatever. So I'm just like, okay, well screw us, I guess. Like we could be dead in this car. And they're just like, what about this? And I'm just like, okay.
Did Jaden like come back to check on you, or is he just like bye?
Oh, Jaden did a U-turn or whoever was driving did a U-turn and came back and I took my gear out of the car, put it in Jaden's, and we all just went back. Jaden didn't go to the show either because he took me to my mom and my mom took me home. So yeah, so I called my mom and like told her what was up, and then I was super like kind of shocked and kind of stunned by it because like I didn't have any like whiplash, which is cool. Like I nothing like wrong, and like I even asked like, hey, do you want to be like go to the hospital get stretchered or whatever? I was like, no, I feel fine. I'm just kind of like my adrenaline's pumping right now because I don't know what just happened.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
get like shaken up and
yeah,
well, I'm glad that you're okay. I'm glad that you survived that.
me
Like,
too.
I'll find that bitch kick her ass, but
Yeah, hopefully I'll never see her again.
right? Like I would be if I hit somebody and like I would feel so terrible. Like I would like absolutely check on that person.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like,
And
wow, what an awful human.
they totaled my car, but I got a new one now, so I guess it all worked out.
Yeah. So, who has been your favorite opponent that you've gotten to face so far?
Favorite opponent?
Or several, if you have like a couple that you really
Uh, let's see. That's a good question. I know I have this in my head. Let me. Kevin Koo's up there for sure, and definitely O'Shea because I learned a lot from wrestling those guys. Um, but let's see. Let's check social media and see like all like my favorite opponent that I got to like share the ring with. Let's see. Let's keep going. Keep
like.
going. Huh. Definitely probably. Oh yeah, it's definitely probably tied between O'Shea and Kevin Koo. Those two are tied. So if you guys are listening to this, I love you guys. Thank you.
Aw. So,
Yeah.
I like watching Kevin Cool a lot because he kicks really hard. Um, how was that for you getting like kicked really hard?
I guess like maybe it wasn't as bad as I like came out to be. It was still like it sucked, but like it wasn't like oh I just kicked my leg off like my leg just flew off or something. But like just kind of one of the things like he kicks you hard, you kick him harder. It's kind of like my I don't know if you ever saw my match with Graham at TWE Nightmare on Dayton Boulevard. I don't know if you were
I have
there.
not seen that yet. No.
I was in a martial arts challenge. As one of the things, he kicks me hard, I kick him back harder. It's kind of one of those things. And it was getting kicked is actually like something I'm kind of getting accustomed to because I never actually get kicked, especially in Taekwondo. I mean, like I do, but like not like that. We're like kind of like in sparring. We kind of like protect each other, but we still go hard. If that makes any sense, I know it's kind of hard to like.
No, I
We go
understand. I
hard,
mean,
yeah. We go hard. We'll kick hard, but we also try not to hurt each other. So yeah,
yeah,
which is great wrestling.
that's in theory, you don't want to wrestle people that are going to try to like for real hurt you.
Oh yeah,
Like, I mean, those people aren't probably people you want to wrestle if
no.
they're going to try to like
Which
physically injure you every time.
oh yeah, which Matt and everyone had like, they won't put me in the ring with someone that's dangerous and someone that's gonna like put me out of action or like worse. So like they know who they have in mind and like what I'll learn from and everything like that. So I trust them, you know. Yeah.
So you trust them to pick opponents that will help you learn and grow and not physically
Yeah.
injure you for fun.
Yeah. Which even though they say they will, I know they won't. They're all sweethearts at heart.
That's cute. So I know that you tag with Cody Manhorn as part of the Squatting Dragons.
Yeah.
Is that like who would be your dream tag team to compete against?
The Tate twins. They're up there. Yeah. Because I got to meet Brandon Tate. And it's Trent, right? The other one? I couldn't remember the other one's name.
I can't remember either.
I know one of them's name is Brandon Tate. But I got to meet him. I got to meet him several times, and I was a pretty big fan when they were managing or teaming with um fuck, I literally just forgot damn, I literally just forgot his name. This can't be happening. I literally met him at Sup. Peacock guy.
Dalton Castle?
Yeah, I don't know why I could not think of his name. I literally met him at Sup the other day, and I was like marking out on the inside because I was like such a huge fan when he was Ring of Honor champion and stuff, which I'm still fan. But like, I like when they managed Dalton Castle and stuff as the boys. So I thought that was pretty cool. But like, definitely the Tate twins. I like to work with them. It'd be fun.
So what is your favorite move to take and what is your favorite move to give?
Favorite move to take, favorite move to give. Favorite move to give might be the crane kick because it's so much fun kicking someone in the face. The favorite move to take. Oh, favorite move to take. I really like taking an X-Flex. Taking X-Flexes are fun. I took a few from Alex Kane and like they're pretty fun to take. Just whoop, there you go. Kind of let you fall. But yeah, that one's fun to take. There's another move I like taking. I just can't remember what it was. Xplex DVDs are kind of fun, especially the one I took from I don't know why my mind is drawing a blank today. I can't think of anybody. Um, fuck. I took it at Action in my second match. It was before the trials.
What do you look like?
It was it was actually a she. It was please
Was it
don't say
Angela
she.
Slane?
Yes, Angela Slane. Thank God. I could not. I don't know what my mind is elsewhere today. I
Well, when
cannot
you
think of
said
people.
she, that really narrowed it down for me. So
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Angela Slane gave me a DVD into the corner, and that was pretty fun to take. X plexes are fun. Yeah. There's another move I can't think of that I know it's fun to take, but yeah. What was it? I don't know. I can't think of it, but I know it's fun.
well, if you think of it later, just bring it up. You're fine.
I will.
So do you have any pre-match rituals? Like anything that you do?
Pretty much rituals. So, usually if it's like a big match, I'll watch scenes from the Karate Kid, specifically Karate Kid Part 3. And I have my reasons. People might give you crap about it. They're like, it's not a good movie or whatever. I don't care. I think it's a pretty good movie. But there's a specific scene that like sticks out to me and that I'll go back to. I'll even say, if you ever watch my match with Kevin Kubak, I'll like mouth this like one quote that Mr. Miyagi says over and over and over again until Q gets in the ring and the match starts. But it's the final fight with Daniel LaRusso and Mike Barnes when like Mike is like kind of like struck fear into Daniel LaRusso and like I want to beat your ass, and Daniel like he's getting his ass beat the whole like entire fight, and then when it's like Mr. Miyagi's like I'm checking on Daniel, and Daniel's like I can't beat him. He goes I'm afraid. Let's just go home. Let's just go home. And then Miyagi's like no, it's okay to lose to opponent. Must not lose the fear. And then like Daniel gets up and kind of like brushes it off, and they end up winning the fight. And like it's one of those things I just go back and watch each time when it's a big match. Like I watched it this past Saturday before a match with Merck, and so like it helped a lot. So I deal with fear a lot, so like it's one of those things where if I watch something like that, someone else, even though it's Hollywood, but watch someone else with my stature, like a martial artist, go through something similar, even in movies, it helps me deal with it better. If that makes any sense. Which, yeah.
So, do you have like a for real like martial arts background then?
Oh yeah, I do. I do taekwondo.
No. How long have you
Yeah.
been doing that?
It'd be 10 years in March. In March. Yeah. Yeah.
Huh.
Been doing it for a
So,
while.
how did you decide to go like so you were doing taekwondo before you did wrestling?
Yeah.
So and based on, your character that you do or the way that you portray yourself in the ring at any rate, um your taekwondo background plays heavily into how you do your wrestling.
Oh yeah. 100%.
Like how did you like what made you decide to like make that transition? Like
Like kind of like use martial arts in wrestling in a sense.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
At first I honestly didn't want to do it because I kind of wanted to be. This might sound cliche, but I wanted to be a high flyer and kind of like do things because I did backyard wrestling too. So like I want to do this, I want to do that, and it's like a lot harder and a lot terrifying to do more. Like only high fly thing I do is 450 splash. Like and occasional I dive, but like I don't do like moonsaults. I can't even do a moonsault. I can do it into a pool. That's about it. But like at first I didn't want to use martial arts, and then like Jaden found out. He goes, "That's it. Just do that." I was like, I thought about it. I was like, maybe he's right. Maybe I should. And then my first match I had, I didn't really do much martial arts, but I came out to the Liu Kang theme from Mortal Kombat, which was the only time I ever came out to it because Jaden hated it and then he changed it without telling me, and I came out to this shitty song for the longest time. Hey Jaden, if you're listening to this, you have shitty taste in entrance music.
Oh, you're calling out Dave Newman on his taste in entrance music.
I love you, buddy, but seriously.
So what did he make you come out to that you hated so much?
It was like this, like very really slow, no beat, no I'm into it type of vibe. It was I don't even know how to like describe it. It was just like fuck how to go. The dun, dun, dun. Like I don't even know how it went. It was just kind of one of those songs. Just like it was like very like it's on IWTV when I at on one of the TTV shows. If you go back to like I think early 2019, I came out and like helped Jaden's sister from Johnny Rock, and I came out to this that shitty song, and then it was just like not like I could not get into it. I was just like, here we go, time to wrestle. But it was not a good song. I don't even remember how it went, but it was not great.
It just wasn't a good fit for you.
No. And then I used after that I used the Mortal Kombat 10 theme. That's actually by Wiz Khalifa, but I used the one without lyrics. So that was a fun song. And then now I used Best Around.
So I know that like several different I've heard
Cool.
several different people using that same theme song that you use, that same entrance
Yeah.
song. Have you thought about like maybe like have you thought about a different one or like does this just feel right to you?
So I've actually been I don't know if you're like familiar with Wade Hunt from Knockout Kid. He actually does our the intro theme to TWE, and he did a cover for Cody Manhorn's new theme, which is the same song that he had, but it's a cover of it because it's like a royalty free song. But Jaden just got well, I think he's currently getting made. I don't know if it's finished, but he's getting a custom theme song from them, and so like since we're like pretty close with Wade Hunt, I've actually like talked to him. Like, see, he's from Chicago, so he was at Freelance Underground. So like, I talked to him about getting a like a custom theme made. I just like don't know what I want yet. Like, I kind of want something that's kind of um like it feels like it's me, but like also kind of like I like rap music, so maybe not like necessarily just that, but kind of like have like a rock beat to it with like here and there like rap. I don't know. Maybe I should get like some more thought, but yeah.
So do you want it to have like lyrics or do you want it to just be instrumental?
Oh yeah, definitely lyrics because I think
So
lyrics
do
can
you
make it.
what do you want it to say about you?
I definitely want it to have my name and that I do like martial arts because Alex Kane is like a perfect fit.
Oh, Alex Kane's great.
It's on my playlist too, by the way. But like something that has my name in it and that says what I do. That says what I do. Kind of Alex Kane always working. Suplex assassin, something like that. But like Erron Wade, fourth degree black belt. I don't know, like something like that that has like that rhymes, makes sense, and is me. Yeah.
Aw. Do you want it to tell like because you could have like tell the story of Erron Wade?
Tell a story of Erron Wade.
Yeah,
Huh. Yeah, I actually would. Cause what would it be a good story? Cause
have it be like your origin story.
but that'd be interesting. Yeah, that's an idea. Maybe I can go with it.
Could you
I can talk.
imagine?
Oh yeah, 110%. Yeah.
So if you had an action figure of
Ooh.
yourself, but and it could be one of the ones that like said words and phrases, what would you want it to say and what accessories would it come with?
This is an easy slash hard question. Okay. I would love an action figure, by the way. It'd be great. Um, I would like for it to kind of like, I would want it to come with a gi and a belt and phrase. Definitely, could you imagine? That has to be a part of it. That, no question, that has to be a part of the action figure. That's a package deal. So that, like, could you imagine as part of it? What is another fun phrase I say? Uh, there's a lot. There's a lot. Fuck the biggest off is another one I say. So maybe that can be a phrase. Um, what is fuck. My friends could like name off every phrase I've ever said, and like that could just be a part. Like you make a soundboard about it, everything I say. That could be, yeah, just everything I've ever said. Part of the figure, package deal. Let's get it started.
I feel like at one point, I had heard that you tell people to disrespect their surroundings.
Oh yeah, disrespecting your surroundings. I definitely have to be in there as well. But it has to come with like something like a tree. So if you disrespect your surroundings, you're fucked. You can't be disrespecting your surroundings. Not at all.
So and you said you said you wanted to come with a belt. Do you mean like a taekwondo belt or do you mean like a championship belt
Oh, a
or
taekwondo
both?
belt. Oh, a bow, yeah. Come with two titles. Even I've never won a title yet, but like come with like two. Like what if I had my custom on title? Could you imagine? Just like have like me on it, kind of like Matt Cardona's like internet title, but me, and then like come with both of them. Like just have two custom titles on the figure. Oh, yeah, that'd be sick. Like, man, I hope I get over enough so like I get a figure. That'd be cool. That'd be so cool.
So if you could create your own title for yourself, what would you name it?
So
Like you would be the champion of what?
I would be the champion of uh the champion of disrespect your surroundings. Or maybe could you imagine champion? That has a good ring to it.
Could you imagine if Erron Wade was champion?
I could. I was almost TW champion. till Mert kicked me in the back of the head and then beat me up.
Sounds like a Merc thing to do.
It is definitely a Mert. Yeah.
So, other than your wrestling gear and your phone, what do you not leave for a wrestling trip without?
Why not leave? Probably my neck pillow. But although I do keep that in my car, so I kind of can't leave it. But hold on, I'm like taking a brief look around my room real quick. Let's see. I definitely always take my fanny pack with me. I feel like if you're on a wrestling trip, you have to have your fanny pack with you. It's so much easier when you're selling merchandise too. Uh, I guess that's about it. I don't really like. I'm thinking about like investing in like a Nintendo Switch or something to like play on the road, but like I don't know. I guess that's it. Fanny pack, my chargers, and I took my staff to shows once a few times, and I've used that. But yeah, I guess that's about it.
What
How
do
about
you
yourself?
keep in your fanny pack?
Let's see here. Here it is, right here. Fanny pack. I usually keep my wallet. I have like a bunch of change down here, just in case you gotta get the right change. Um, I also keep like three things of mask. Oh, I also keep this mask. Where's it at? The official Bald Monkeys mask. I always keep
Aw,
this in there. Yeah, yeah. It doesn't fit very much, but like it's also just fun to have. So I keep it. I also have a Darth Vader mask and a SpongeBob mask. So I keep like four pairs of masks in my fanny pack just in case, because you never know.
I have three in my purse, so I feel you.
Yeah. Ugh. Ooh. Ugh.
So, what is the weirdest request you've gotten from a fan as a wrestler
Ooh. Weirdest request.
that you can tell us about? Like.
Let's see. Um. So, are you familiar with customs matches?
Yeah,
So I've done a few of those, and
nice.
the first one I did was with Jaden, and uh, I
If
had
you're gonna if you're gonna if you're gonna get yourself in hot water, end it here.
fair enough. I don't think Jaden would care, but like I had the person that like requested stuff, just requested a lot of weird stuff. I guess I'll leave it there. But yeah.
Moving right along. Uh, um, so other than where you got hit by a car, do you have any other really good travel stories? You travel a lot. I know that you do because you're everywhere all the time, and especially in the
Yeah.
South. I feel like you're at a new promotion all the time. You have just viewers from freelance. So you travel a lot. So there has to be good travel stories. And that can be anything that's like funny or memorable or otherwise exciting.
Fun stories. I did travel with Warhorse once.
Huh.
Yeah. Yeah. It was it was something. Uh,
Something good or something bad.
so I mean it was pretty cool. I think I made to get like him and Gary J were in the car. So like I rode from Action to this show in Carpet City for double booking, and I was booked on the show. I didn't make it because I was on the pre-show Battle Royal. We didn't make it in time, but I put my gear on in the car, and I got to talk to Warhorse. Super cool dude. And now I haven't seen him in a while, but hopefully he still knows my name.
I'm trying to think. I will see Warhorse on Saturday.
Oh, where at?
Pro Wrestling Revolver in Des Moines.
Oh, that should be fun. Who's he wrestling?
He's in like a multi-man match, I believe.
Oh. See, like I haven't seen much of Warhorse since he lost the IWTV title. Like I'll see like occasional like video he does, but I haven't really seen him wrestle much.
I've seen him a couple times since, but like he's not that far from where I live, so I still
Oh,
end up on shows over here.
yeah.
I say not that far; it's like 6 hours, but nonetheless,
Yeah.
it's not that far.
Oh,
Interesting.
I remember the move I love to take, by the way.
Okay,
The spear. I love taking spears.
that was the movie you couldn't remember.
I couldn't. I was thinking back to my OC match, but he gave me a spear. I love taking spears. So if you call a spear, I'm all for it.
Okay. See,
Yeah.
like I thought it was going to. So I'm not very. I know what moves look like, kind of, but I don't know the names of all the moves. But like
Yeah.
even I know what a spear is. I'm surprised that you couldn't think of it.
I am too. Just my brain is just not in it today. And
I'm just
yeah,
I'm just asking you too many hard questions.
it's okay. They'll come to me soon enough. Yeah.
So outside of wrestling, like what are your hobbies? What do you enjoy doing?
So I really love movies and I love video games. Those are like my main two. Besides Taekwondo, of course, but like those are like when I'm at home, there's usually like my main two I have to do. Like I have a Blu-ray collection and DVD collection over here, and like I just like the other day I literally just bought the new Suicide Squad movie, and I've been watching it. Like I'm a huge movie guy.
So what are like your top 5 favorite movies?
Oh, top five. Okay, let's see. Um, I really like Indiana Jones and Last Crusade. That's definitely up there. I'm a huge '80s movie guy because that was a good era for movies, even though I wasn't born yet. Um, I really
So
like The Dark Knight from 2008. That's a banger movie. Love it. Let's see what else. Spider-Man 2. I love that movie too. I'm a huge Spider-Man guy. Uh, the new Mortal Kombat movie from this year. Love that movie. I've seen the movie so many times. So good. What else? The Wrestler from the Mickey Rourke movie. I love that movie too. And let's see another one. One more. Probably Bloodsport. I like that movie as well. That movie's good too.
interesting choices.
Yeah.
Hmm. As I
Movies.
say, I think I've only ever seen one of the movies that you mentioned,
Oh, which one was it?
Dark Knight.
Great movie though. Perfect choice.
Good movie. So, what would you tell a 10-year-old version of yourself now that we've got this time machine? If you could go back and use it, talk to
I
yourself
would
as a kid.
look at him in the eyes and tell him that he actually became what he wanted to become, and then
Aw.
some. Because like I'm still kind of like progressing and learning and traveling and getting trying to get my name out there at different promotions. But like you did it, yeah. Yeah,
Aw.
be great.
So, a couple of random questions, then we'll get questions from chat. Then we'll talk about what you have coming up, and then we'll probably have a lightning round,
Hmm.
and then we're almost done. So, you've enjoyed your time with me. Um, thank you.
You're welcome,
Um,
Pancakes.
so I like to talk in Twitter spaces. I've met a lot of really cool people through Twitter spaces. I mention it because this is a Twitter spaces question that
Yeah,
came from Twitter spaces. So, what is the biggest animal that you could take in a fight with just your hands, no weapons?
that I think I can take it to fight.
Yeah, if they were like attacking you.
That I think I can take it to fight with just my hands, no weapons.
Mhm.
Maybe a werewolf. No, that's not it. That's not real. A wolf.
Mm,
Just
a
a wolf.
wolf?
Yeah. I like wolves too, by the way. But a wolf. Yeah. I think I got a pretty good, thing on a wolf. I can rip it up. Yeah.
I appreciate your confidence in the fact that you think you could take a wolf.
I think I'm pretty confident on it. Hopefully, I don't die, but I
I
think I
mean,
can do
in theory, you'll never actually have to take a wolf. So at least there's
it.
that.
No, yeah,
Because I'll be honest, I don't know that you could take a wolf, but like I
it's okay.
appreciate that you think you could.
I think I could. I think I got a pretty good chance. I mean, I'm a dragon after. I can just breathe fire on it, can I? That's not technically a weapon, is it?
I mean, not if it comes from you, I guess.
Yes. Yes.
So how do you take your pancakes?
I like pancakes with pecans in it, but also chocolate chip pancakes not that bad either. Like with like some syrup, maybe like 2 stacks, and then I'm also more of a pancake person than a waffle person. Anyway,
Oh, I like you more than other people already then.
hell yes.
People
Well, I
come on
mean,
here talking about waffles. Hell is wrong with you?
yeah, you're not Val waffles, you're Val pancakes. It's
Thank
intro.
you. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, that's a tweet right there. That's a tweet.
Erron Wade, 10 bonus points
Yes.
for liking pancakes and not waffles. So I'm gonna like set a scene for you. So like I'm just gonna ask you to just like think about this, like go on the journey with me, okay?
All right. See.
All right, we're good. Okay. So like you're sitting at home or whatever and you're hungry and you're like, I could really go for something sweet. So you go to the store and you're like, there's so many options you can pick, but you end up in the cookie aisle. And you're looking at all of the cookies. There's like, chocolate chip and like oatmeal raisin and like fudge stripe and whatever. So many cookies. But you're like in your head, you're like, I want America's favorite cookie. And America's favorite cookie is the Oreo.
Ooh.
So you go to the section with the Oreos in them. And there's so many flavors now, right? There's so many flavors of Oreo. But you just
Yeah.
want like the regular Oreo. You want the chocolate cookie with the, regular cream center. But there are still options, right? Because you can get like the thin Oreos with like just a little bit of cream, or you can get
Yeah.
like a regular Oreo, or you can get like a double stuffed Oreo. So like what Oreo are you going for?
You know, I'll probably go for the regular Oreos.
Hmm.
Just because when I went to Chicago, Kevin Koo and all of us like stopped at this like Target to get stuff, and the snack Kevin Koo chose for an after match snack was Oreos, the regular Oreos. So I'll take regular Oreos.
Oh, so you did get bonus points because you said that you like pancakes over waffles.
Yeah.
But then I now have to take away points because you said that you like
Oh.
regular Oreos over double stuff, which is clearly the unofficial correct answer to the question.
Oh, come on about pancakes.
You could have said double stuffed Oreos and you didn't.
Could you imagine if I did that?
I could. You could have an extra points that way, but you didn't say that. You instead chose to disappoint me. So
I'm sorry about pancakes.
I don't know if you are. I don't know that I feel it, but it's okay. It's okay. We can keep moving. We can be friends. I'm at the point where I'm either looking for questions from chat or lightning round. So that
Oh.
brings me to Chuck.
That brings you to Chuck.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Chuck from
Yes.
Bald Monkeys.
It's Chuck from Bald Monkeys. Yes, I am here.
Hey, Bald Monkeys, Chuck.
Hey, wrestler Erron Wade. I didn't know what I was going to say there. I had to think
Okay,
about
after
that one
you.
for a second. Okay, so we have a ton of questions from chat. We have a very special lightning round. Carson has been in the chat all night.
Oh, I bet he has.
Hi, Carson. Thank you.
Blowing up all your stories, and I think Christopher wants to book a real stories of Erron Wade via Carson. So I don't know if that will actually happen, but we'll see.
Like Carson as an Erron historian.
No, Carson giving the real stories behind the Erron stories.
I'm for it.
Now,
Oh man.
we'll get to questions in a second. There was so much that happened in chat, but one of the most recent ones has to deal with some movies, and we got to hear this story about how Home Alone 4 and 5 don't exist.
Yeah. They never happened. Non-existent.
But they did.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Wait. Okay, so Home Alone 1 and 2 are great.
Classic.
Amazing movies. Home Alone 3, 4, and 5 are just a figment of our imagination. They were put out in theaters and they were awful. And then we just wiped them away from history. Because they never happened.
I'd be okay with it.
Yes. Someone understands.
I would honestly be okay with it. So anyway, I digress. Let's get to some questions. So Vic asks, where did the moniker of the baby dragon come from?
Okay, let's see. So I used to wrestle at this show in Athens, Tennessee, called Ego Pro, and I was when I was there, people always like thought I looked like Brian Danielson, and like I still got the beard and the hair and stuff, but like back then I kind of like looked like I guess 2013-ish Daniel Bryan, and they're like, hey, you look like Brian Danielson, and then like he's the American Dragon, so hey, you're the baby dragon now. And like for the longest time, that was like my name. Like Erron Wade wasn't like even my name. Like people just said baby dragon, not Erron Wade. And I was like, I hated it so much. It was awful. But then like eventually, once I started coming out to it, it kind of grew on me, and I was like, why not? I'm the baby dragon. Eventually, I'll evolve into something different, but like right now, it's just kind of what I am.
Nice. So there's breaking news in the chat right now. I'm not sure how Bald Monkeys found this out, how our main handle found this out, but Anthony Henry says that you don't want that kind of competition. Plus, he likes you.
Oh, I see it. He missed me and everything. No. Oh, I'm sorry, Anthony Paul Henry.
So
Anthony Henry.
We don't normally get breaking news in the chat, but I saw that and we had to get it in there. Okay, next question from Wrestling is Family. You guys talked about this earlier on. How much did you enjoy being a part of Futures last year?
Oh, it was awesome. Super cool. Plus, I got to work a current WWE star, Ben Buchanan, because he just got signed. So that's cool.
Okay. Our very own Christopher has a question. He wants to know, what is the hardest Taekwondo move you know?
Oh, man. Definitely like a double sidekick. So like basically, I practice every time I go to class. I even tried to do it in the ring for a while. It's basically like you kick with one foot, and while you push off with that same foot you just kicked with, you are spinning and kicking with the other leg while you're in air. Like I can do it on bags, but it's also pretty hard. Sometimes I mess up, sometimes I hit it out of the park. So it kind of like varies. But definitely that one for sure.
Damn. Okay, back to Wrestling is Family. Could we see the Squatting Dragons potentially bring back the TWE tag titles?
It's been up in the air. I think that would be a great team to hold the TWE tag title. I don't even know who the last team was that held it. So like, we definitely need to bring it back. Like, I think that'd be great. Yeah, I would love to see it.
I got to ask a follow-on question. Will we ever see the Squatting Dragons challenge for the Action tag titles?
Huh. Never say never. That would actually be interesting.
Imagine.
Could you imagine? That'd be great.
Okay, we're going back to Vic. And this happened way early in the chat, but he wants to know what you were drinking so feverishly.
Oh, I was drinking water. Oh, also, I was drinking water and coffee out of my coveted Dragon Kai mug.
Ooh.
So yeah, I'm also really jittery right now.
And you can anybody can pick up that mug though, right? On, is it Teespring or TeePublic?
You can pick it up on TeePublic.
There you
on
go.
my store. Yeah.
I'm sure Christopher will drop the store in the chat somewhere.
Yes.
Okay. Speaking of Christopher, we're going back to him for another question. Who's given you the worst beating in the ring?
Worst beating in the ring. Probably Jaden Newman, honestly. Dear God. So, like, my debut, I wrestled him. And, like, I'll never forget this. The finish was to the match. She had me in, like, it might have been a cross finish or some sort of a submission. And, like, before I tapped, he's just smacking my side as hard as he can. And it hurt so bad. Like, it's just smacking me. And I was like, I tap, I give. This, no. But probably that. But yeah, not to claim it. Jaden Newman, you're pretty stiff.
Okay, back to wrestling as family. You talked about it earlier about how you were in a death match down at New South. So would you ever do another death match?
Probably not, because the weapons hurt.
What's the worst weapon you think you could get hit with?
The worst weapon? Ooh. Probably I did get hit with a crutch once in a match like that. And like it sucked so much.
Metal or wood?
Definitely metal. I think wood may have some more give to it, but like probably definitely metal.
Okay, going back to Vic. What other martial arts themed wrestlers would you like to wrestle? He says, I could see him in a 3-way match with Janai Kai and Ninja Mac.
I've been wanting Janai Kai for a while now. So definitely me and her, I think. And who are the other choices?
Vic also mentioned Ninja Mac.
Ninja Mac. That sounds interesting. Maybe yeah, those two. Definitely Janai Kai, I've seen a lot of her stuff and like, yeah.
Okay. Next question. Going to signed 8x10. If you could be any type of sea creature for a day, what would you choose?
Ooh, I'd be a shark. Easily, I'd be a shark.
What kind of shark, though?
Great white shark.
There you go. Okay, now this is probably one of the most important questions I think we've got from chat tonight. It comes from Vic. He wants to know, who would you wrestle in a beard versus beard match?
Beard versus beard. Who has nicer facial hair than I do? That's on the indies that I've met. Probably me and Jaden, honestly. And I'll just shave that. I've seen it without facial hair before, and I've just shaved it all off.
What if you lose, though?
Whoa! Don't get Jaden in. I can't lose this match. My beard means too much to me.
Imagine if he lost, though.
But could you imagine if I didn't lose?
So you want to pick somebody with a nice beard that you think you could reasonably beat.
Whoa, you say I can't beat Jaden Newman?
Val stirring things up right here. She's stirring things up. I see it. So throughout the conversation, you guys talked about driving. And this isn't really a question, but it might come to a question about this trip. But Carson had mentioned that he's the best driver and that you almost killed him and Jaden coming back from North Carolina one time.
No. They're just over exaggerating. I did not kill anybody or almost kill anybody. I got Carson. We're going to have a talk later after this. I'll let you know that you're safe. Your life is safe in my hands.
Now I got two more questions from chat. The first one is from Chris. He wants to know, when did you decide to grow a beard and why?
I started growing my beard when I was a senior in high school, and by that point it was kind of like probably bigger than this. And then I always thought facial hair was pretty cool. I was like, oh hey, facial hair, hell yeah. And then I started growing it. Like before, it was kind of like down to here, and that's when I started kind of trimming it up, making it look good instead of it looking like shit. So like, I also use Wrestling with Your beard oil. Hell yeah.
Nice plug. Carson comes back with that you swerved into oncoming traffic and you most indeed almost died.
No, absolutely no. I didn't swerve into anything. Maybe on the side of the road where like the shoulder is, but like not into oncoming traffic.
See, I feel like we almost need to just like bring Carson on right now to like clear this up. Because I don't feel like, Erron, I've enjoyed speaking with you. I think you're a delightful person. I don't feel like you're being truthful with us right now.
No, I am. honest, I am. Like, Carson, damn it, I am. I swear to God, I am.
Val, still trying to stir everything up here. Jeez. Okay,
I'm just trying to get to the truth. I'm just trying to do a good job as a journalist.
I hear you.
To get to the truth.
I think we need to have a drive off somehow, some way. Okay, so go ahead.
Sorry, I'm kind of scrolling through chat as we've been talking to see if there's anything that's making me want to ask questions. And I believe it was you, Captain Chuckles, that said, wasn't there a Mania Week story about him driving?
Wait, which story was that? Was that the one where I went to took Jaden's car?
I don't know.
I'm not sure. We're
asking you what the story is.
I just know that there was one.
I know there was one where like on the way back, where it was me, Dylan Held, and Jaden Newman and Matt Griffin, and like I know I was driving a little bit, and like I had a fight Jaden Newman's steering wheel, so I wasn't doing too hot. I needed to tag out with someone that knew what they were doing, because I clearly didn't. And like Matt, I was riding some people, and Matt's like, "Pass on Wade." And like Matt's one of those people that like can like look at their phone and still know what is going on around them. Jaden's kind of the same way. Like I'll be like driving and like kind of sort of like stay straight, keep it straight, stop what you're doing, get over. Like, okay, man, I'm sorry. I need to tag out with somebody. That was probably the story everyone's like talking about.
So I did also just want to, as I'm going through the chat here, to give Wade his credit. If he is familiar with his route, he is a very good driver.
That is true. If I know where I'm going, I'm okay. Carson probably said that. So Carson, you probably redeemed yourself.
Okay, so let's see. The late arrival question into the chat was from V again, signed 8x10. What is your favorite adult cartoon, if you do have one?
My favorite adult cartoon? Oh, definitely Robot Chicken. Oh my God. That. So funny. so freaking funny. I just like the Star Wars skits are like the one that get me.
Yes.
Super
Didn't they
freaking
do
funny.
like a whole Star Wars like
Show.
episode?
Yeah.
Like a long
Yep.
one?
Yeah,
Yep.
I believe they did. It was like super funny too.
Okay. Now this is the last question from chat. I threw up the flag in the chat about this. I did not want to ask this question, but since this person is a special VIP in our chat, I do have to ask. It comes from Vic once again, and he wants to know if Jaden jumped off a bridge, would you follow?
Oh, bro, that's on you. Like if Jay's even jumped off a bridge, like sayonara, motherfucker, I ain't jumping.
Well, Vic, I don't know if that was the answer that you were expecting, but that's the answer we got.
I mean, could you imagine if I did jump? I mean, I could fly. You know, I mean, I'm a baby dragon, fly away.
Very true. Okay, let's see. That's all the questions from chat. My next question is, Mr. Wade, are you ready for the lightning round?
Ooh, let's do it.
Christopher, cue up that beautiful lightning round music and video.
Oh, my brain got to
Yes, 10 questions. As fast as we can get through them. That is the objective.
Let's go. Yeah.
Okay. Now, since it is close to the end of October and we have Halloween coming up, I have crafted a Halloween lightning round.
Oh, nice. Hell
So,
Spooky.
So here we go. Question number 1. How old is too old to go trick-or-treating?
16.
Best Halloween costume you ever had?
Oh, Sin Cara. I was Sin Cara. I had the whole outfit and everything.
Nice. Favorite Halloween candy?
Twix.
What's the worst candy a house could give out to you when you go trick-or-treating?
Those like weird eyeball gummies. Like, I don't know what they are, but they're gross.
Did you ever egg or toilet paper someone's house on Halloween night?
No, but I should have.
Better Halloween song, Thriller or The Monster Mash?
Oh, probably Thriller. But Monster Mash is good too. Don't get me wrong.
Do you decorate your house for Halloween?
We used to.
Favorite horror monster or villain?
Frankenstein.
If you were dared to spend the night in a haunted house, would you?
Probably not. I couldn't do it.
Here's question 10. And I'm going to set the scene for you on this one. Okay? You're in a horror movie.
Oh,
You're playing a character. Is that character the final person alive, the first to die, the comic relief, the skeptic, the smart one, or are you the killer?
You know, I could be the comic relief, but it'd be much more fun to be the killer.
Hell yeah. And that's 10. We are done. Thank you, sir. You survived the worst segment of the entire interview. Thank you, Mr. Wade. I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for the questions in chat. Val, back to you.
Thank you, Bald Monkeys, Chuck.
Thank you, wrestler Erron Wade.
Yeah, yeah.
So I just want to give a big shout out and thank you to Chavez for rating. V, Screwball, Old Bad Guy, Vic as always, Carson, Matt showed up. Like, thank you guys for coming and hanging out with me and Erron Wade. It's been pretty cool.
Guys.
I appreciate all of the commentary from chat. Y'all have been great.
So my parents were watching, by the way, which is hilarious.
Aww.
Like my mom texted me, "Hey, we're watching." And I was like, "How?" Like, we're just watching. I was like, okay.
My mom's watching too.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, mom's in chat. So, hi, Erron Wade's mom. I hope that you've enjoyed this delightful evening that we've had. I hope that nothing has startled you or scared you. Uh, she's never gonna let you go anywhere anymore because of your poor driving.
I hope not. That would suck so bad.
But no, seriously, thank you so much for joining me tonight. It's been a lot of fun. Like, you're a very interesting person, and I appreciate you taking time out of your evening to spend it talking with me.
That was fun. Look, it went by too quickly.
Could you imagine?
Oh, 110%.
If we just did a whole nother hour. No. But again, thank you everybody for joining us tonight. This has been The Stack. I'm Val Pancakes as always. This has been the Baby Dragon Erron Wade. What do you got coming up?
Let's see. Got it in my notes. Notes. Let's see here. I had your podcast today. I'll put that in my notes.
Aww.
I have November 13th. I have a TWE. November 20th, I will be at ICW No Holds Barred helping out at the TWE Arena. November 27th, I have TWE. December 3rd, Paradigm, which was just announced today, which is super cool. And then December 11th, TWE, which I'm pretty sure that's the rest of the year of my dates, like for the rest of the year. But yeah, that's where I'll be at.
And then where can we follow you? Twitch, Twitter?
Oh, I do have a Twitch.
You do have a Twitch?
I do have a Twitch. I stream here and there. I'm trying to get me a camera so I can have like video as well.
Yeah.
But I stream every now and then.
What's your Twitch, dog?
My Twitch is at Erron Wade, ERRON WADE, and follow me on there. I'll usually stream just like whatever I'm in the mood to play. Like it's usually just like, all right, I feel like streaming, let's stream. And kind of one of those things. But I am planning on getting a camera to like some people can like see me.
Yeah.
Like, come join. I'll hopefully I'll be streaming here again soon once I get everything situated. But as for Instagram and Twitter, at Erron Wade, same thing, ERON. I can't even spell my name. ERRON WADE. And yeah, everybody's pretty much the same. I keep it all the same. If you want to follow me on TikTok, it's the same thing as that as well. Keep everything the same.
So you have Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok,
and yeah.
Anything else?
That's about it, I think. Yeah.
Do you have a merch store that we could get cool Erron Wade merch at?
I do. I have a Pro Wrestling Tees and a TeePublic. Which it's www.prowrestlingtees.com/Erron Wade. And then I think TeePublic's like the same thing, I'm pretty sure. But, yeah.
Awesome. So follow Erron Wade on Twitch and Twitter and Instagram and TikTok, and check out his merch at Pro Wrestling Tees and TeePublic. And be sure to check him out when he debuts at Paradigm, trying the UWFI rule set, which should be interesting. And as you continue your trials in action, as well as on TWE shows. So make sure to follow Erron everywhere. Make sure to catch him wherever he can be found, which is infinite number of places at this point. And thank you everybody so much for hanging out with me tonight. Thank you, Erron, for hanging out as well. Again, I appreciate everybody here. And you have a good night.
Bye, everybody.
Visit IWTV.live today to watch these great action wrestling events, plus numerous other archive shows from Action and other great independent promotions. Use code ACTION for a free 5-day trial. Don't miss out. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at The Bald Monkeys.
Watch us live on our new Twitch channel, twitch.tv/thebaldmonkeys.